It's all like science based, so he goes through all the science and stuff. But the boys like it because it's just like random ass questions. Like,
that's cool.
Can you cook a steak by dropping it from a plane? You know, if it travels fast enough, will it sear it or whatever?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Terminal velocity of a steak is 9.8 meters per second.
It's like a Pittsburgh sear or something like that, where it's like just
raw.
Yeah, it's pretty raw.
Just wipe its butt and ut off its antlers.
But it's just.
I can't believe it's Pittsburgh. I would have thought it was like a Madison. Well, there's like a weird thing in Wisconsin where they like eat raw burger.
That just sounds
cannibal sandwiches, also known as tiger meat or raw beef sandwiches, are a holiday tradition consisting of raw ground beef, onions, salt, and pepper served on bread. Despite warnings, people eat it like annually.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are the baritone from a barbershop quartet I was in back in Skokie, Illinois, and a guy who will flip you for real, Martin and Brady.
Give me the fucking keys, you fucking cocksucking motherfucker! Ah!
Hand me the fucking keys, you cocksucker. What the fuck?
This week, we're lining up the suspects, lighting a cigarette, and stepping into the shadowy brilliance of The Usual Suspects. A film that didn't just pull off one of the greatest twists in movie history, it redefined what a crime thriller could be. It's been nearly 3 decades since we first heard the name Kaiser Soze. But this movie hasn't lost an ounce of its mystique, from its razor-sharp script and unforgettable performances to that iconic final reveal. The Usual Suspects is the kind of film that rewards every rewatch and still manages to fool you, even when you know the game. Maybe we'll also finally answer the question, how do you shoot the devil in the back? What if you miss?
That was a very nice intro. I agree with every word you said there. I fucking love this movie. It's so good. Even on this rewatch, I thought I was going to be like bored with it.
Can I ask what? It's fine. Obviously, you might not know the answer. How many times do you think you've seen this movie? This is obviously to both of you and myself, but
it's probably less than you would expect, but probably like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5.
I feel like I'm probably right in that range. I'd say on the high side is like it can't be more than 8.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but and I have this movie poster on the wall in the Mayflower.
So
I'm pretty confident. Yeah,
for sure.
I think I remember yours.
I have a picture of you probably next to it.
Probably
in
accurate.
My room. Yeah, that's awesome.
This is. I mean, we're not breaking news here.
No.
This is an all-time great.
Yes.
And of those 6, 7, 8 times, whatever it is, I watched this with as much like gusto and like admiration as I ever have.
I fully expected this time for me to be like bored with it.
I had a similar expectation. Well,
because I thought I knew everything, and I've gone through it like the second and third time.
You've
I'm
been
going to pay
attention.
Right. Yes, exactly. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to find the flaw. But it's impossible to find any flaw because the whole concept of the unreliable narrator, everything that they say, most of the movie is just in verbal nonsense.
Well,
Kaiser Soze.
That's interesting because I thought a little bit more, probably deeper than I have at times. I think I just always have really just enjoyed sitting back and just enjoying the hell out of like how amazing this is. But yeah, thinking about it in the more analytical sense, there is little reason to believe that the viewer, has any clue what happened at all.
Exactly. There's nothing in it is really happened except for the parts that they show with Kuyan and
right.
Yeah.
That is the only single part that anyone could be confident about what actually happened, and it's crazy to think. Side note: we're revering how movie this is, or how good this movie is. 1:45.
Oh, right,
guys,
it's good timing.
It's doable. You don't need it.
Yeah,
no. Like
there's no fat on it. And it's perfect. Yeah.
But to have a movie like that and also be completely questionable if anything you saw was real is probably the overall brilliance of it.
Jelani, go shit on it.
Johnny, first time.
No, it wasn't the first time for me, but it was for Brooklyn.
Nice.
We asked him.
How old?
He's 11. And this is one of Jen's favorite movies, too. And so we often, all the time, when like kids are doing something, Jen will like, I'll kick you for real. So
Nice.
it's a common phrase in our house. And so we asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to watch? I'm like, it's really just violence and language. Like, other than that, you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's not bad.
Throwing out his own
disclaimer. I'm just letting him know. And I mean, he's 11, so he didn't take in the whole ramification of the whole thing and how it all plays out and everything. So it might sit in the back of his head for later on when he gets older. But
waking up tonight, Kaiser Soze.
right?
I'll never forget that name.
I'm a Hungarian.
You read on your dad, and Kaiser Soze will get you.
Right. So that's what he was kind of worried about, like Kaiser Soze being the boogeyman. I'm like, don't worry, John Wick will come.
It's a horror story that criminals tell their kids.
But that was the thing that I wanted to do, is I wanted to go back and watch to see, could I figure out what was real and what he was making up? Because aside from the characters, aside from, McManus and Fenster and Edie Finneran and, all the people, did they do anything?
But the way that they acted,
right,
is you don't know, because we've never seen them in real life.
Well, and
from the beginning of the movie, they're all dead.
And I saw something this time in the notes, like looking it up, that said there's a pretty heavy reason to believe that Spacey was never in the lineup. Like, it's him telling a story about all this stuff, but like he's also never seen handcuffed. It's everyone else. They show you how they got arrested. He's never shown arrested. He's just there. And he's also narrating the story. He's also never even talked to, and you don't even know he's in the room for a while. Like, they're all just going back and forth, and then all of a sudden he's like, "What about you?"
The only thing was that Kuyan did arrest Gabriel Byrne. Keaton, yeah. Dean Keaton, right?
Sure. Everyone else that's fine, but his argument.
So wouldn't Keaton know if Verbal was in the lineup or not?
Right,
because it was his lineup.
But Keaton's dead.
No, I'm sorry. Wouldn't Kuyan know if Verbal was in the lineup?
No.
He arrested Keaton for that truck thing.
But he wasn't there for the lineup.
Remember, he said he walked in. He said these men with the police department want to speak to you. He was just kind of along for the
He was more like, "You're my guy. I'm going to be here for this."
You're right. Yeah.
Right.
So that checks out. Yeah, I didn't even notice
Again,
that detail.
He very well could be, but this goes into the whole idea. Like, literally the entire movie, you either have to just buy into, or you just have to accept that you just don't know if what you're seeing is actually real.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. Even me trying to poke a little hole there. Nope, doesn't work.
Well, the thing is, you're like, of course he was. I've seen the poster.
That's such a great scene.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's,
when they start just giggling when he's looking down.
You've heard the why, right?
Because it was actually improv, right? Or I mean, they had the line, but they didn't know how they were going to do it. Or
yeah,
I don't really know.
I saw it on TikTok recently, and then I also saw the quote. Like, so one, it was supposed to be serious. The whole thing was supposed to be serious, and they were just over and over again, and it wasn't really working. And so Singer was going to just do some outtakes, and Benicio del Toro kept farting. And they said he farted like up to 12 times, and like they're all laughing because like of what was going on in this room. Like I think they were all just tired,
and
over, and so like, but that's what ended up becoming what became.
Perfect.
But it's like, but that's
when
not
he hits him, and then he hits him back. It's just like,
but that's not what Singer wanted going into it.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't want this to be a funny. Like, this isn't funny, but that's what needed to happen.
Yeah,
and it is what ended up
great.
happening.
I didn't know that.
Real quick on that too, like, and it not solely connected to that, but what has always kind of blown my mind is when I saw this movie, I only knew Kevin Pollak from this movie. So,
A Few Good Men.
As time went on,
Maybe. No.
It was weird to me that he is, again, you're not wrong, A Few Good Men, but I then saw him do like his Christopher Walken, and like he's essentially closer to like a comedian.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
And not what I mean.
Not this badass
well,
Cockney.
and maybe that's Yeah, hot. Let's just go with hot.
cocksucker.
But like, and he has some funny lines, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't really arrest so many men when they come to arrest him, yada yada. Like, he has a couple lines, but like, not what he just. It was weird to me that like what I thought of him was so different than what I think he actually is, and it was all shaped on this movie.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that's funny about like comedic actors, that you often, when you see them in a serious role, you're like, wait a minute, you're pretty good at that.
And, and the thing is, like, what if what you see them in serious is the first thing? Like,
Yeah.
the comedian part becomes
The secondary thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, this is just one of those movies where it, again, like you said, it's well put together, it's well thought out, and again, I wanted to see like the zoom out of the board to see like how many things you could find.
I went up close to the screen this time, and I was like, all right, I'm going to see if there's other things, because they really only have the quartet,
that board. Sorry,
the Redfoot, and the
they
Kobayashi's.
start to
obviously the
zoom
big thing
in
from
on
the
some
cup.
things like you almost see like another guy's like mugshot and fingerprints. So like they almost lead you to believe, but then they zoom in further, and it's actually like quartet. But like as it's zooming in, the quartet's pretty small in the picture.
Right.
So
Yeah, the whole point is that he's spinning a yarn, and he's pulling from whatever he needs to from the bottom of a coffee cup, whatever the case might be, and that's the great scene too that you notice that when he's looking up at him when he's starting to tell the story, and you see that he's looking right at the cup, and it's just it's the little things.
Which is what you can only get the second, third, fourth time through, right?
Right. You would never think about that.
It's such an innocent, action on the part of Spacey.
So who wrote the script? Do you know?
McCord.
Yeah,
Christopher
McQuarrie. Did you know that?
I thought we did.
I didn't know that.
He's listed as the writer.
Yeah, I was just saying we've never like. I just didn't know if it was news to me this time around, because he does all the
Mission Impossible
movies, right? Not all of them, but
he's become
the Mission Impossible.
Him and Tom
guy.
Cruise definitely found a rhythm late. I think he's done most of them.
Yeah,
not all, but this is, and I think they said he was a cop. Maybe he had history, I think, in a police detective environment, and it was all bred from that.
But who was the biggest name when this movie came out? Do you think like
Byrne?
Gabriel Byrne was the biggest name?
Yeah. And I saw that a note like every one of these guys, he never told anyone who was Kaiser Soze. So they all thought,
They all assumed it was
to
Byrne.
a degree, they could be. And Byrne was outright mad when he found out that he wasn't actually, because he was sure that he was. And being the biggest actor, that's probably what you would think, right?
That's why, right.
I would say it's either him or Chaz Palminteri.
All right, that's true, Chaz.
Yeah.
And then Spacey, though, was on the come up.
Yeah.
So it was, I think he was wanted for Verbal, and is just, he won. He won Best Supporting Actor for, which deserve. I don't know. I could look. I don't know what he was up against that year, but I mean, like, he was great.
Yeah. This, I mean, the
Spacey of it all.
This is the second. This is the second of three movies that I always will say like why the '90s are my decade for movies. It was Pulp Fiction, then this one, and then Seven, and two of them are with Spacey. Like I think three movies and three directors that just I think changed a lot in cinema in that decade. So you had Tarantino, Singer, and Fincher. In three scripts and movies that are just completely through the film world on edge.
Spacey won that year. He beat James Cromwell in Babe.
I knew, yeah, I remember. I did watch the Academy Awards that year.
Ed Harris in Apollo 13.
Yeah,
Tim Roth and Rob Roy, and Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys. So if there is an argument to be made, I saved that one for last, because if it wasn't down to Spacey and Pitt there, I don't know what the hell the Academy was doing.
Tim Roth and Rob Roy, huh? I don't think I've seen that movie.
That's
Wow.
Neeson. It's Liam Neeson.
It is Liam Neeson. Damn, I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that in the Pyramid.
I have seen Rob Roy with Jessica Lange.
That just doesn't feel like a movie.
I think Harris probably could have won it, though. He was pretty good in Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt was pretty awesome in 12 Monkeys. Playing crazy.
Yeah, but I also think like he wasn't a figurehead. Like he was again on the come up, right?
Maybe I need to rewatch Apollo 13. It's fair to say
it's a
that.
good movie.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was a good movie, but Spacey and Pitt feel like, to me,
To me, yes, they were. It was much more revolutionary.
I gotta
roles
think
than
Tim Roth
Apollo.
was like,
Apollo 13 is the
oh,
safe.
okay. And James Cromwell's like, you give these out for this? Okay,
For a pig movie?
sure.
I think he said like 2 words in the whole movie.
Yeah,
That'll do. Pig.
I don't really
3
understand.
words.
I don't really understand. That feels like a lifetime achievement award
Yeah.
situation.
Well, they weren't going to give it to him for Revenge of the Nerds, but
Well, then he was in, but it probably got him the role in LA Confidential a few years later. You know,
Fair.
Brought him back on the map.
But nonetheless, the Spacey's great.
You don't want to talk about Babe more?
No, but what I did want to talk about is, so when they cut to the end, I know we're going to jump around because everyone at this point, if you're this far, you know that Spacey verbal is Kaiser Soze.
What?
When they show him going down, I think the ladder on the
Right.
boat,
Yeah.
I had I went right to 7 when he's scaling
Yes.
Yeah.
and I was like, dude,
because
totally.
he's wearing a hat too. and,
Yes,
like
totally. Like obviously, we did that not that long ago, but immediately when I saw that, I was like, "Oh,
Do you think it was actually Spacey?
I'm telling you right now, with on memory alone, they're pretty similar."
I do agree with you. I'm just wondering if they maybe used the same stunt double or something like
Definitely a possibility.
that could be it too. I do like the slow reveal too when they're at the docks and like every time somebody's about to see Kaiser Soze, like it all lights up like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
that. Yeah, right.
Is
Yeah,
it,
when
is it
he
always,
shoots-
or is it just
No, just the one time shoots Kevin Pollak.
Pollock
and then
for sure.
I thought
Hockney.
I thought
Maybe when Gabriel Byrne.
when Gabriel Byrne does it, and then I thought when
I disagree.
didn't Baldwin get it?
Baldwin comes out and falls forward because he's got stabbed.
Yeah.
You don't even
Oh.
know he got stabbed in the neck. I think it's just Pollock or
Strangest
Hockney.
thing happened. Yeah,
Well,
I thought
how
it was
does-
just Pollock.
He says strangest thing, but
Finster dies earlier, right?
yeah,
He dies
Yeah.
on the
we
beach.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro, such a great.
And this is the
Is this
beginning of
like
him.
beginning for
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, like he was essentially nobody in this movie, which to see what he's gone on to
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, supposedly Spacey recommended him, but 1995 for him. I mean, that's so far.
When's the Way of the Gun? Because it was
Oh, that was many years later.
was it that many?
I think so.
He had been in.
Maybe 97. I don't think it's that far.
The Way of the Gun.
He was in Big Top-
2000.
Well, do you know he was in Big Top
5 years
Pee Wee?
later. He was.
He
That's
was
crazy.
Duke the dog-faced boy.
Big Top P was a
License-
huge disappointment.
License to Kill.
I've seen that
The
movie.
James Bond.
The Indian Runner in 91. Money for Nothing, 93.
Chicks for Free.
Hopefully Dire Straits is crushing that action.
Was Money for? No, that's nothing. I don't know what.
China Moon, Swimming with Sharks,
That's another
Oh,
space.
Swimming with Sharks. Space,
Usual
yeah.
Suspects. Is that,
So
so
Spacey
that
had
would have
worked
been
with him.
that would have been where
why.
that came from.
Yeah.
What was the movie you asked for?
Oh, Way of the Gun.
Oh, that's
was 2000,
bro.
Yeah.
You were in college.
He also played the Wolfman.
He did play.
I have not seen that.
Wolf.
movie, though.
We recently we
Talked about a variation of Wolfman.
yes, that's been done.
Yeah.
But dude, he's obviously had a massive career. But this was 100% escalated him to a whole nother
And I know
level.
he's 6'2" from the lineup. Kevin Pollak's probably about 5'6", 5'7".
so funny because they could have totally fibbed all that action, you know,
Yeah.
right? Like, but
Let's just make it real. Add a sense of realism.
it that lineup is just so simple. Like thinking about that movie poster earlier, we talked about both having it, but like it's so basic, right? It's just
Yeah.
5 dudes on a like in a lineup, but I think it's just because of how good the movie was. It really meant something.
And we wondered when we did Casablanca with Out Cold if they got the line, if that's where the title comes from the Let's Round Up the Usual Suspects from Casablanca.
Correct.
And it is?
Well,
Did you read it?
I
Okay.
saw that it was. I mean, like what it. who
It all ties together. That's what I'm saying.
Who
Everything's
put that
connected. We're making connections here for you all out there.
the part that the line of
Let's round up the usual suspects.
well no, but the line that the verbal says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was
Yeah.
convincing the world he did not
exist.
exist is actually a quote from a French poet, Charles Baudelaire. I feel like I nailed that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And also appears in End of Days in '99, which features Gabrielle Byrne and Kevin Pollak. But that line, I did see, like, Singer, and they knew that they'd heard that line. They didn't know what it was actually from. They didn't know it was a French poet back in the day. But it's a great fucking line,
Yeah.
and then they use it to perfection in this
Works
movie.
perfectly. Yeah.
Did you bury the lead on End of Days? Is that a Schwarzenegger film?
I think so. But he's not pertinent to the conversation currently.
I mean, but he's the lead. He literally buried the lead on it.
I did literally bury the lead.
I have not seen that movie.
However, the his co-stars were much more relevant to the topic at hand.
Also, in the context of bringing threads together from other pods, when we did T2, you were talking about how End of Days was like his first bad movie in a really great run. Right?
Yeah. I think
Said something like that.
I think after there
Or was it Last Action Hero? Maybe.
It might have been like right around 90. It kind of just ended for him.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just fell off.
Liza
unfortunately.
Dushku?
What I loved about this too is even while Spacey's sitting there telling the story, anytime something happens where like Chaz Palminteri comes in, he's like, "I got this." He's like, "Ah, shit!" And he like
It's
throws
like he's
him
going to
off.
tell him another.
So now he has to spin the story and like fabricate something new.
I wasn't going to tell you about Kaiser Soze, but now that you heard about it,
Right.
I'll add it in.
And then, just the ability to have that, like you said, Martin, the unreliable narrator to be able to continue to spin that, and you still don't know whether he's telling the truth, whether he's lying, or whatever. I will say that this ending was ruined by Jay-Z for me.
No.
Because
Fucking Hove.
he has a song called "The City Is Mine" with Blackstreet, where he parodies this movie. And I saw that music video before I saw this, and I was like, son of a bitch. Michael Rappaport plays the detective in it, and
It was 2 years after this movie came out.
I
He
hadn't
didn't
seen
watch
this
it.
movie.
I watched
There's a
it. I watched
statute-
it right away.
There's a statute of limitations, though. Like, it
I did
any
not go to the
Jay-Z's
theater,
fault.
but I remember renting it right when it came out and watching it with friends. And yeah, just
You rented from the family video?
family video, of course.
What's
Maybe
interesting is I
Blockbuster,
could not
possible.
tell you when I saw it. I couldn't, for sure. But, like, I know I did.
Yeah, I could tell you exactly where I was. Yeah, it was my friend Aaron's house.
And I watched
Basement.
a lot of music videos, and I don't remember the Jay-Z video. So, but nonetheless, it hits in so many different ways. I feel like there's another path where everyone is like, how the hell is Stephen Baldwin in this movie? But I actually think he's really
I think
works.
it's perfect.
He does
Yeah.
a perfect job.
Like,
He's the necessary loose cannon.
but he's the right actor for it. It's really weird. Like, I'm sure you could put other
Gary
people in there.
Busey could have done it.
I'm sure you could put other people
Maybe
in that
not Gary.
role.
No, what's Gary's brother?
His son,
His son.
Jake.
Is that his son?
It would have
Yeah.
been way
Oh.
too young at this time.
Yeah, probably.
But
Sorry.
but it's weird. Like, he's very replaceable in general. But I
Biodome?
weirdly feel like he
Biodome.
nailed it. Like, to the eeny meeny miny mo. Like, it's just like perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really. I was thinking about it a lot because I'm like, man, you couldn't, for such a great movie, you could replace some people with like better named people that are going on at that time. But I was like, but I don't even know if you
I wouldn't
replace Stephen
replace
Baldwin.
anybody.
Yeah,
No.
it's weird. I don't think you can.
No, I like the Baldwin family.
At the risk of,
Yeah.
I like at least one of them.
Daniel?
Ironically, the most murderous.
So
Find the lie.
this movie is very influential. I know when we did Den of Thieves, again to tie it back to another episode, I remember thinking, I'm like, well, Den of Thieves does not exist without without Usual Suspects. And I've not seen the second one. Have you guys seen the second
Not
one?
yet.
Not yet.
I will for sure.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it eventually. But I just feel like now this movie's what it caused everyone to be like on edge for that final twist, or like that's the guy we're looking for right away. What typically what I always call like the Scooby-Doo ending, but it's done so well here that it's often imitated now and it's never been surpassed.
I would say that this is like the benchmark for a twist ending, right? Yeah. And maybe the only one that's come close, like since I've been watching movies and since is maybe The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, of course.
That might be the only one that's but other than that, it's like
because it's so hard to really pull a fast one on the audience without.
Well, you're going like an hour and a half, like of not having people see through what you're doing.
Yeah,
like you're asking a lot.
You're asking a lot. Yeah, and again, especially because of these movies, now you're just looking for it.
We talked about that all the time. We're watching shows or movies. It's like us and everybody else. You spend so much time essentially looking for the clues, the
tells, the
tells, the herrings, like whatever any misdirect you could possibly snuff out in order to like pick up on what might be going on, like the Lost of it all, the Severance of it all. Like, I mean, there's just so many different shows.
Con to a con to a con.
Yeah. Trying to get ahead and like, you're like, oh, everything's a clue. Everything is layered to the point that you...
Wait, you double-crossed us. No, but you double-crossed us first.
The double cross of a double cross.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ocean's 11,
to your
13.
point, 95, like for this
it was fresh.
Hit at the way it did, everyone had to have been blindsided by the fact that this was the reveal. What I also thought was interesting was going back to what I mentioned earlier, the Spacey in Seven, and he is the surprise reveal in multiple movies in the 90s, like, but somehow still isn't enough to like get yourself to think that it could be him,
Yeah.
Because Seven was after.
Yeah, it was
after.
Okay.
And he wasn't credited like the way they do it. Now you probably would just know because you can't help but look it up on IMDb. But at the time, they didn't advertise Spacey being even in Seven.
Yeah.
So it was Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Gwyneth Paltrow maybe, right? But like, so you had no reason to think that you would know who the bad guy was.
Subtle cameo from Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, not even a cameo, but just
not subtle.
He's all there.
He's a guy.
Yeah.
He's the one tracking down, listening to Hungarian guys speak.
Tell him what you told me. But yeah, it's been 30 years, guys. I think this movie's only rivaled by The Net in terms of importance.
From 95?
Yeah, from 95.
I always remember...
My Crimson Tide's up there. That's 95.
Oh, wait, 7 was 95 as well.
Oh, so same time.
Why did I think it was like 2 years later? I could have sworn.
I always remembered Pete Postlewaite from this movie, the name.
I always said Postal Weight.
I don't know that
I don't know how
you could be 100% right. Yeah. I don't know that I saw him again since this movie until The Town.
Is he in The Town? Is he in Peaky Blinders?
He's a florist.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know where he just like...
I feel like he's in like one British film that was like really popular, and then maybe a Jurassic Park.
Let's see.
Known for.
Yep.
Lost World, Jurassic Park.
There it is.
Inception.
He's in Alien 3 before this. Yeah, he's in Inception.
By the way, his known fors are The Usual Suspects, The Town, Inception, and Lost World, Jurassic Park. That's a pretty solid little foursome. I mean, Lost World's obviously the weak link there, but...
He's not in Peaky Blinders. I don't know why I thought he was.
No one knows.
You're probably thinking The Town, then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Constant Gardner.
Do you guys watch Peaky Blinders?
I have never seen it.
No.
Me neither. People say it's really good.
I've heard that.
There's too much to do. There's too much. There's too many shows, and Peaky Blinders is what, like 8 seasons?
Yeah, it's like a lot.
He's been in a shitload of stuff, but like it's for me, it was Usual Suspects was hey, this is Kobayashi,
right?
And then all of a sudden it was like I never watched Crime Time and The Serpent's Kiss, you know. So it's like I don't know, that guy just kind of like existed in movies, but
he seems to be with.
And then he showed up in The Town.
With Daniel Day-Lewis in a couple stuff. So he's in Last of the Mohicans and in The Name of the Father early on, like in 92, 93.
It's very meta of him. Do Do we know Brian Singer? What else is Brian? Is this Brian Singer's?
I think so.
Opus,
I think
right?
this
Like-
put him on the map, and then he just became X-Men crazy.
I was gonna say, yeah,
That's what I remember him
X-Men
from
to
as
the
well.
screen.
But it's like he is.
But then didn't he have other stuff later on?
See.
Didn't he bring back? Was he the one that brought back Superman? Superman
Yeah,
Returns.
I think he did do Superman. Yep, he did. Superman Returns.
Yeah.
He did Bohemian Rhapsody.
X-Men, X2, Superman Returns, Valkyrie, Tom Cruise movie.
I didn't know he directed Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah,
that's
most recently. But that was 6 years ago. Is he alive?
I remember him doing Apt Pupil in '98
know
because
what
that's
that is.
it's a Stephen King short story. So of course I watched the movie, but it was pretty good. You guys would like that one too.
That's the one
That's
with
not crazy.
Ian McKellen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of.
Jack the Giant Slayer.
Oh no, Ian McKellen was also. That's probably why he was in it because he did X-Men already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought maybe I'm wrong, but I thought maybe he had family issues and he stepped away from filmmaking for a while.
Well, his IMDb picture is awful young for a guy who is 15 years older than I am. He looks like he's in his 30s.
Yeah. So, I mean, this definitely put him on the map, and
Oh,
this
for
man out
sure.
there.
I mean, you hit, and I would say did a really good job. There's a lot of scenes that are directed really, really well, especially on the boat, like catching all the sounds, like looking at different visuals. You know what I really, I want to call out because I thought it was awesome was when they are watching Edie from afar,
Yeah,
and
with the glass.
the bodyguard crosses in front. Yeah,
Yeah.
What I mean, that's chef's kiss. That's amazing.
Because you're like, she could see you if you could see her. But it's like, nope,
no,
not the way
it's
the
so good, and
reflection
like
in the
the way
glasses.
they frames that so well. I'm like, I am never one to get too technical on that stuff, but like that is a job well fucking done.
Yeah. And then especially having Kobayashi sitting there, looking up at him, looking at her, and then looking back. I was like, oh,
About to put two
Just
in her
super
head.
confident the whole time. Go ahead, shoot me whenever you want.
You know,
Shoot away.
He's about to put two in her dome in Pennsylvania. Unfair.
Yeah, it was. I think. Yeah, if I watched it again next year, I'd still enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not a regular. Like you're not gonna watch it over and over again, like repeatedly. But like, yeah, you dip
But
into
you
that
could.
thing once a year. There's no way you're disappointed.
you might have to sit Kyle down to watch
Yeah,
it.
I think it's time.
A real early Clark Gregg sighting.
Yes, as the doctor.
Dr. Walters.
I filed that one away for the movie Chain, a cinema chain game.
Yeah, that'd be a great one. I don't know that he makes the cut for the chain game, but you never know with
Oh, easily.
Clark Gregg.
What's this guy's name?
Yeah, because he's in all the Marvel movies.
No, I'm saying,
Oh,
but why
Clark
would he
Gregg.
be picked?
No, you just use him for the chain to get from somebody because he's low on the list.
Oh, sorry.
Bonus points.
I'm thinking of him as one of the two.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, yeah, dude, bro.
No, he's a connector.
Fair.
he's a straight connector.
He's a connector.
He's the bridge.
What did you do with your life? I'm a connector,
Don't
actually.
forget Dan Hedaya.
Yeah, random poll, but he's there.
Adam's Family.
Is he in?
That's what I remember him from.
Oh, I don't.
They were the Raul Julia.
I'm thinking
Adam's
like
Family.
Clueless.
Oh,
and-
Clueless. Because he's
I don't know.
dad, right?
I think he's in Night at the Roxbury.
Yes. Yeah. Terrible movie.
It was quite bad. Speaking of which, we're probably due for our final sub-zero or sub 10%
Sub 10%
Rotten Tomatoes movie.
Absolutely.
That might need to happen here coming up.
Yeah.
We're due for. I mean, this is on the elite status, but
Can we find a good movie that is below 10% on
let alone
IMDb?
3 of them.
Yeah, let alone 3 of them.
We did it in the teens. Well, I mean, we think we did.
Yeah. Or we'll just have to shit all over them.
I know I did.
But this will not be on that list because,
This movie fucking slaps.
yeah, still to this day. So, as always, a man can convince anyone he's somebody else, but never himself. You should be someone who subscribes to this podcast wherever you listen. Thanks, and go to bed.